yesterday we covered Dr. Oz's ill-fated trip to the grocery store, where he went to a store called Wegners. No, where did he go? What was the name of the grocery store that he went to? What did he call it? He called it.
He called it Wegners, but he mixed up Wegmans and forgot the name of the other regional grocery store, but I'll find it.
Oh, this is funny. Somebody on Twitter created it was a combination. It's the place he was at was Wegners, I think.
Wegners or something like that. So
yes.
he made it.
He got confused. He thought it was at Wegners, and everybody was like, "Wegners doesn't exist, you idiot." Play the video again. It's on that. It's connected to that tweet. Show the video. Don't show the tweet. And here it is. Here's the video again. Scroll down so we just see the, right there. We're going to play this again because yesterday, I mean, in some ways, this is a correction on our part, okay? Because he said Wegners. And we were all like, you idiot. It's not Wegners. It's either Wegmans or Wegners. It's not Wegners. Here's the video.
Thought I'd do some grocery shopping. I'm at Wegners, and my wife wants some vegetables for crudite, right? So here's a broccoli. That's $2. Not a ton of broccoli there. Here's some asparagus. That's $4. Yep. And carrots.
Incidentally, that broccoli is
$10
$1.99 per pound.
We need some guacamole. That's $4 more. And she loves salsa. Yeah, there's salsa there. $6. Must be a shortage of salsa. Guys, that's $20 for crudite, and this doesn't include the tequila. I mean, that's outrageous. And we got Joe Biden to thank for this.
Okay, now yesterday we took him to task for all the pricing and for the fact that he had no basket, and we didn't really mention that crudite is a French word. It's usually when you dip the vegetables into like a dip. You can do it with guacamole, I guess. But people are not dipping vegetables into salsa. You're going to need some crackers for that. But that's not, look, everybody, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum, okay? But this is we made a mistake. We thought there was no Wegners, and it turns out there is. Apparently, it's on Twitter now, so it must be real. Let's show this. It is Wegners. We repeatedly told Dr. Oz that we had pre-made veggie trays, crudite, in the deli starting at $5.99, $7.99 with guacamole and salsa. Vote John Fetterman. Yeah. I gotta say, this has got to be Fetterman's kid.
I don't know.
I'm surprised if it's Fetterman.
Yeah, I bet Fetterman was like,
they came out with like stickers, like within like 8 hours of that video being out to mock Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
The people who do that campaign are just do quite a job.
Because I think what I'm trying to remember who was tweeting about this, but I think what is so valuable about the strategy here is that it's just hammering home the same conceit. Like it's just literally hanging the carpetbagger mantle around his neck.
Well, no, it's going beyond that, okay? Because you can win by being a carpetbagger. But what is the fundamental narrative, the meta narrative of a carpetbagger? It is that he is not one of you. He does not understand your problems. That's the narrative that they're working on. So it's not that he's from New Jersey. People can do, that's why when Hillary Clinton moved to New York to run for New York, the first thing that she did was to go on a listening tour because she has to make up this deficit of that. I don't understand what you go through. And so the reason why this is so effective is not because he's from New Jersey and not Pennsylvania. It is because he is a pretender. And this shows, again, it is the meta narrative is you cannot trust this guy. This is what they understand on Fetterman's campaign, is that They're not getting caught up. And it's been wildly successful. In fact, the National Republican Senate campaign, and what they do is they reserve ad buys for the fall in the run up to the election, because you got to sit on these. But at one point you have to cut bait because you got to pay. It's almost like, when I'm signing Saul up for camp in February, I sign up for a bunch of different places, and then I make my decisions when it comes time to actually put down some money. They have slashed their budget in 4 different states. Nevada, they cut $1.5 million that they were going to put into that race. Wisconsin, $2.5 million. Arizona, $3.5 million. And in Pennsylvania, they cut $7.5 million. They have cut bait. Now, here's the thing. There's going to be outside expenditures. There's going to be super PACs. They have this. And they can raise a lot more in the super PACs. But the problem is that they technically cannot coordinate with the campaign. And when it comes from the Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee, they get a discount. So their dollars go about almost twice as far as outside expenditure dollars. So all dollars are not equal. They get a discount on their purchasing of ads. Now, I don't know if that's statutory. I think it's just election rules. And the ads can basically say, they have a wider range of things that they can say. And they get a candidate discount. So this is a big deal. It suggests that the Republicans are sort of like, understand that they're having trouble with fundraising, at least on the Senate, on the side where they actually have to reveal who their donors are, and where they have limitations, right? I mean, they're having fundraising problems. The super PACs can raise unlimited amount of funds from dark money, essentially. But it also suggests that they know that, like, they may have to cut bait in a couple of these races. And if they're giving up on Pennsylvania already, Wisconsin, I think they imagine that Ron Johnson's going to pour some of his own money in there. But if they lose in Wisconsin and in Pennsylvania, and they can't pick up in Arizona, and they can't pick up in New Hampshire, you're gonna see them pour a ton of money into Ohio to make sure that they do not lose that seat there. But the problem is J.D. Vance is sort of like a black hole. It feels like he's just sucking anything that anybody wants to do for him.
Yeah.
The Senate race is heating up, and I mean the control of the Senate, and I mean how big a control. It'll be interesting. I'll tell you what will be an interesting tell is how many votes Manchin's side deal gets from Republicans. Because if McConnell thinks it's in his best interest to maintain a close relationship to Manchin, it's going to tell you that they think that the Democrats could maintain control of the Senate. Because if the Republicans think they're going to win, they don't need Manchin. It also may tell you that they think that there's actually they're not going to bet that the Democrats are going to get a 2-seat advantage and make Manchin irrelevant. But if you see a bunch of Republicans voting for that, it's not dispositive, but it's going to be a clear sign that they think we need Manchin. We're going to need Manchin. If Shapiro wins in Pennsylvania, it's not going to be exclusively because of John Fetterman, but a big part of it is going to be because of Fetterman. Fetterman is going to be driving people out to vote against Oz. People are going to have so much enjoyment in voting against this guy that I think you're going to see big turnout numbers, and that's going to help Shapiro. In an off-year election like this, when you have like a Christian nationalist zealot running, that Christian nationalist zealot in Pennsylvania can be assured of like a 1-to-1 yield. Every Christian zealot in Pennsylvania, every self-identified evangelical, every self-identified conservative, and remember they said, you know, between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, it's Alabama. They're going to come out for him in an off-year election. So the only way you defeat him is if you can run up the numbers bigger than they normally are in an off-year midterm election. And Fetterman could very well end up doing that. Just because his campaign's so engaging.
And it's just, I obviously not even anecdotally, I just feel like ticket splitting is in certain areas is still relatively robust in certain states, but like in Pennsylvania, I just like, it's hard for me to think that a lot of voters in November would go to vote for Fetterman and just be like, oh, I'll leave Shapiro blank. Like I really do think that, like you said, it'll go down
no,
up ballot.
This is a question of like how many Democrats do you get to come out? It's really not a question of like I'm convincing somebody to ticket split. I mean, that happens to, you know, some extent, I'm sure, but it really is like how many Democrats who would otherwise vote for Shapiro would stay home were it not for a race that is engaging them. Look, if you're in New York State, ask your friends when the primary is and what percentage of them know that it's August 23rd.
Like who to vote for in their district, so to speak, potentially also.
Yeah. Very few. What Fetterman is doing, and the reason why people don't come out for midterm elections is because you don't have 14, 16 months of wall-to-wall coverage building up to this one day in November. Because, you know, it's midterm elections and people just aren't, you know, whatever. I've got to work. I've got to deal with, you know, COVID. I got to deal with my kids. I got to deal with, you know, partying, whatever it is. They just don't pay that much attention. Americans are just not inherently, you know, like super civic minded. But when you have this, like there's no doubt in my mind that if you watch television anywhere in Pennsylvania, you're going to see a local news report like John Fetterman did it again, ladies and gentlemen. He made fun of Oz.
Yeah. And
part of it is because Oz went to Wegners and called it Wegners. And this, of course, you know, Janet Fetterman's been saying he's from New Jersey. And, well, it really does seem he doesn't know the name of the supermarket that he shops at.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm because, like, Trump obviously was able to turn out a lot of people, in part because if he was a TV star. Oz also, like, has celebrity, but it might, like, be another reason to turn out and vote against him.
It's cutting against him. It's cutting against him.
And just a small point of clarification, it's Redners, so it's Wegmans and Redners.
Redners.
So to make Wegners.
Look at that, Janet. I actually even got it wrong.
Maybe he's trying to do the Trump thing of saying Eric, but
Tim Apple.
I of course grew up in Maryland, but okay. That was me doing my local news, Channel 6 News.